So we're back like every other week because, you know, there's really nothing else for us to do during the week.
Every week.
Every week.
Totally bored. Nothing to do.
Every time. Just every time. We're here.
I don't know about that.
I mean, what can you do? Like, we entertain the masses. Kind of. Not really.
Sure.
I mean, you know what? Just cue the intro. Hello, guys. It's Two Latin Brothers podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're back at it again with another not vlog because this is audio and you can't really record anything.
I mean, you could, but then that'd be like descriptive audio. But I don't know who would listen to that.
The deaf.
That's not a. I mean, I guess, but like, I'm not gonna jump into like, and Victor smiled at me cautiously as he turned to look at me. Like, it would make no sense.
Yeah, that's true.
We'd have to get like a narrator over us talking.
You think we could get Morgan Freeman on that?
No, that's not gonna happen.
Anyways, we brought guests for you guys. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Thea.
I'm Christian.
Wow, guys, great intro,
guys.
Came in on cue.
Right on cue, you know. I honestly don't know how this. I don't know how we got to this point. It was more of my brother's idea, to be honest.
Okay, look. Okay, I'm gonna preface. I'm like, okay, so look, so. I think we should give the backstory of how you three met, because I'm gonna be honest, it is like comedy gold. I when he told me how you guys met, I was just dying of laughter because I was like, that is like the most, I think, like for your generation anyway, the most like organic way to make friends on the internet. And I just could not. I was just like, my generation lacks this. We lack this trust in people.
All right, so let's start the story with Christian's perspective. What was your perspective when you met me, or do you even remember? Just far back, actually.
I vaguely remember the very first time we met, but I just remember it was an average day on Fortnite. Me and Thea, we were just grinding. We were getting those Fortnite dubs, and then we were randomly talking to people in voice chat, and then we met Victor, and then, you know, it all just kind of
went from there.
Yeah.
I mean, how was Thea's perspective?
I remember everything like not vaguely. I remember, as Christian said, we were kind of just like on Fortnite because we were bored and we hadn't played since like March. So we decided to like re-download it. We got it. And then we were just talking to random people. And then all of a sudden we like went into like our lobby. Victor was there. Everyone was just like silent. And it was just me, Christian, and our friend talking. And then until like maybe like when the match was over, he goes like, "Good job, guys." And I'm like, "Oh, you can talk. Oh my God."
I was honestly, that entire match, I was trying to fix my mic because I was just like, they can't hear me. But I remember this was my perspective. These complete strangers out of nowhere. And Christian goes, "You know what, guys?" No, Christian goes, "It's very suspicious how these two people have the same title, well, like close to the similar title of name." And I'm like, yeah, that kind of is suspicious. I'm like, they clearly know each other. And then Christian just goes, "You know what? Screw it. We're going to land in 4 different parts of the map." And they didn't expect me to actually go to one of the corners. And that's when they were just like, "Oh, this person's chill." And I'm just like, they still can't hear me.
Okay, so in my case, so after this all occurred, he comes running and he's like, I mean, you came to tell me because like I live in the basement of where we are. So he comes like down the stairs and he's like, bro, I just had this match with these like 3 people and like they were just joking around the entire match, like just fooling around. Like, I don't even know how.
I had never experienced such like, especially like in a squad feels like you meet those people and they're just like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. But I've never met such open people right off the bat. And I'm just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was just like mind blown.
Right. Yeah. And then like it became like, I remember there was like after that, it was like a week or 2 of like almost every day you guys were playing. And the thing is like he normally plays in like the living room. So I could just hear him like laughing like right above me, like just dying of laughter. And I'm like, I remember one day I came up, I'm like, what are you like, what's going on? Like, are you watching like some movie or something? Like, what's going, like, why are you laughing so hard? I'm like, is there like a comedy special or something? Like, I was totally unaware. And he goes, no, I'm just playing with these people on Fortnite. And then I remember, I think I've played with you guys like once. And then your other friend came, so I'm like, forget it, I'll just leave. So I left, also because I had to do some other stuff. So I just like abruptly left the group. And then, but I think what was really interesting is like the dynamic of like how, like, I mean, I think for me anyway, as an adult, like it's very odd for friendships to be born like that. And I mean, like nowadays, especially with COVID, like that has become super commonplace, as opposed to like, I went outside and I met this like guy, and then we hit it off, traded like gamer tags, and now we're friends. As opposed to, like, I jumped into Phil's on Fortnite, and now I met like these really two cool chill people.
Well, I met 3 really cool chill people.
Right, because the other person's not here.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. We should have gotten that person in here.
Someone's like, message her. We'll get her in.
We were definitely trying to make Victor uncomfortable, because like that was like what we were doing for like the past like hour straight. And then we met him and we were like, okay, let's just stick with the plan. Let's just try to make him like really uncomfortable or like weirded out. And you just didn't talk, so we were like, okay, there's like no point to this. But like you were listening to it, like you were like doing what we were telling you to do. So we're like, he can hear us. And so like I just remember the whole match, we were like, hey, can you like say something? And then
my perspective, like, was falling apart.
It's like, what are these people doing?
I feel like whenever we met someone on like squads, we always had like a plan with that person, like to troll that person. I remember we'd just like do the weirdest stuff to make that person feel like they're like shouldn't be there, and like we've made people actually like leave the game from how weird we've been. It's just so funny.
Who was that person we were playing with who was like, give me a sec, guys, like the police are at my neighbor's house?
Oh yeah,
we were like this one time we were playing together, and this girl just goes, the girl, and like she was like I think we were playing like trios or squads.
I think we were playing squads.
We were playing squads, and like the other teammate, like he just left. He just like in the middle of the match, he just like left.
He just
and then,
disconnected.
Yeah, and then the other person, she started talking to us, like she turned on her mic and started talking to us. And then in the middle of the match, she goes, "Oh guys, give me a sec. The police are at my neighbor's house." And we go like just out of nowhere, so left field. And I go, "Okay, should we be worried? Like, where are you at?" And she goes, "Oh, like I'm like," she was like on, I think she was in the States,
yeah,
or something. Anyway, and then I go, because we're in Canada. I mean, and she goes, "Oh, okay." And then her neighbor calls her to tell her that the police are outside their door, and they're like panicking.
They're just like, "What do we do?" And she's just like, I don't know.
So we're like trying to like play this match while like hearing her on like a voice call of her neighbor while the police are like surrounding this guy's house.
It was really interesting because like we could hear him too, and I'm like tell him I say hi, and she's like, "Oh, the person I'm playing with says hi," and he's like, "That's good to know. Do you have any advice or like what we can do?" And just like, honestly, I don't know what to do in your situation.
Like it was just like the most random, like, and like just like I think that is like the most like funny thing, because you just jump into like, and I get why streamers do this now. They'll just like jump into a squad and stream, and just like whatever happens, right?
You'll meet the most interesting
like
people.
What is it, that guy who plays with his kid who's actually like crazy good?
Yeah,
like
there's this guy
who plays with like his 10-year-old kid. And it's like funny because the 4 of us are playing with him and his 10-year-old kid, and the guy's like in his like mid-30s, and his 10-year-old is carrying the entire team. Like he's carrying the entire team. And we're like, how do we suck so much?
Like we were just questioning ourselves. We're like, we played this game often enough to say like we're decent, but this kid's like, what is
10-year-old is just carrying us.
Yeah.
It was funny. I don't know. I think it's...
Well, that's the background story for those listening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that wraps it up. But
that pretty much wraps it up.
That
is the wrap up. Because, like, honestly, here we are now. Like,
now we're all on a podcast.
Now we're all here on a podcast on this call. To be honest, this is the first time we've done a call with 2 people at the same time. Like,
yeah, if the audio got sounds, that impression.
Yeah.
If this call goes like, if it sounds like horrible audio quality, I apologize. I don't know what's going on.
We've never done this.
Fault.
You know,
it's just like I had nothing to do. I'm not part of the editing team.
She's just like, it's not my fault.
It's Christian's fault.
Yeah, it's all Christian's fault.
What is it? We recorded with someone 2 weeks ago, and like in the middle of the call, her mom was like calling her on her phone to tell her to come eat dinner.
It's like subliminally, because she knew that she was like recording with us.
Yeah,
but she decided to call her, but her phone actually went off. So it's just like,
The other thing too is like we just happened to be talking about her mom the moment she she called. She's like, she's got like a sixth sense. She knows we're talking about her.
I know, it's crazy.
It was really funny. I was like, can she hear us? Is she like behind the door? Just like couple on the door, like trying to hear what's going on. I don't know. It's having to record cause well, I mean, also because we're in different countries. I guess I can say that because you guys are far away. Well, not that far away, but far away from us.
6-hour drive.
I mean, and it can't be.
No, it's
There's
not.
no way it's that. No, it's definitely
like
not.
8 hours to get.
Dude, you drive. If you drive 7 hours.
No, 6 hours. If you go on the main road and you don't stop for anything.
Oh,
like you just maintain velocity.
Okay.
So you're going at 100 kilometers an hour the entire time.
Just the entire time.
From the moment you leave the door of the house.
From the moment you leave. Just constantly. Just don't stop for anything. You need an oil change? Don't stop. Just keep going. You need gasoline? Just keep going. Just forget about it. Just keep going.
No, but because like if you drive like what is it to like
I mean like we are cramps,
from when we are to drive to like the second biggest city or like the biggest city close to us in that direction is like 5.5 hours away.
No, I know.
So like that doesn't, and that's like,
I think
and that's even flooring.
Should I just check this right now? Let's check on Google. Let's see how fast I can do this.
It's gonna like
honestly, I don't know how long it takes to get there. We're gonna figure this out.
I like to think that, but like I don't know, distances are weird like that. I mean, in my like, I think that are you serious? Right? He's actually googling it. Yeah, he has his like laptop up to this. He's actually googling this live, and I mean, you can't do. Oh, he's actually googling it. Oh, here we go.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, he's pulling up the maps. It's loading. Here we go. And what's the time? Gotta click the car thing. Like check walking.
It's not.
Why don't you check? Put in our address. That way it's more precise. Just click on home. So, Google knows where you live. How many
8 hours and 7 minutes. Wow, it's actually checked.
She Googled you already, bro.
She Googled.
Did you give her address?
No. I mean, she knows what. I think she might know where.
Do you know? Wait, do you know what city we live in? Has he told you guys?
I don't think
I think. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, you can say it and I'll bleep it out.
Wait, yeah, I remember we were talking about like this other kid that lived in that area, and we were like, "Do you know him?" And you're like, "No." Wait, can I like cite it? Wait.
The province we live. Okay, so we live. The people who listen to the podcast, they know we live in Ontario, and we never we live in Southern Ontario, but we never like specifically like outed ourselves because I don't know, it's kind of sketch. But it's like the province we live. We talk about like everywhere around us, but like to such a degree where we had this actually we had a guitarist from this band on, and he told us like, what's really funny? He's like, when you guys are talking about it, he's like, people who aren't from the area or are from the area or people who have ever been in the area are like, yeah, I know that place. But if you have no association to Canada, just no sense. He's like, you could be talking about London or Europe for all I know.
I mean, if we say London, we wouldn't be wrong because there's a place called London, Ontario.
Like there's a place called London, like 6 hours from us.
Exactly.
So. There's almost 7 hours actually. And then like, it's just stuff like that like we like to like throw in. And
I mean, we mess people up pretty easily. Yeah. We're just like, so we were in like downtown Montreal, and then the next day we're in downtown Ottawa, and then the next day we're just like, so we were in like downtown Niagara Falls.
Like just, and like all of these places are like 8 to like 9 hour different like drives away from each other. So it's like just total like Christian's face is just like, what are you guys doing?
I tell you, those leg cramps, man.
I mean, like, have you guys ever gone on any road trip, like far away?
Yeah, I've been on a 12-hour car ride.
Wow.
I think the longest we've done is like almost 8 hours.
Well, actually, remember that one time we went? Actually, you were with us. This one time we went to this city, and we came back the same day. So we were like in the car for like almost 13 hours straight.
Oh yeah.
Because we went, and then we drove back the same day.
It was a 1 day trip.
We were there for like, I think like a total of like 2.5 hours, and then we came back. Christian's looking at us like, why would you do this?
Like, just get a hotel, stay for like a night.
That's what we were trying to avoid, Christian. You don't want to spend more money. The gas money, it's crazy.
Honestly, we should have just flown. like that. We should have just flown.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, the amount of money we spent on gas could have been like 2 tickets.
Well, and the reason we did this was because well, also we've done other trips where like our aunt came to visit us.
Oh yeah.
And like we're like the country where our father's from, our aunt from our father's side, it's like you can cross the entire country in like a 5-hour drive. I think it's like 4 hours and 30-minute drive. You can go from one end of the country to the other end of the country. And we were like, yeah, we're gonna take you to like Niagara Falls or something like that. So she came, we jump in the car and we drive like we 7 hours straight in the car.
We drove the length of the country she comes from.
And she was like, how big is this place? And we're like, we're still like in the same like state. Like we haven't even left it. And she was just like, what? Yeah, we're like, we're still like in the same, technically this is the same place. Like it hasn't changed. And then because like our sister province like right next to us is Quebec. And then I did the math for her, and like the country where our dad's from, which is El Salvador, fits like 15 times just in the province of Quebec. And she was just like, what? I'm like, yeah, like that's how small this place is comparatively to like this province right next to us. So it's like, which is really interesting because like in the grand scheme of it all, you never really get like your perception of like how big a place is isn't until like you visually see it like that, or you experience it like that. Like and people don't understand how big Canada is. Like we have a friend who she travels a lot, and she was like, yeah, I'm like, because we're in Ontario, right? So we have people, she's like, I have people like message me all the time, hey, I'm gonna be in Canada, I'm going to Vancouver, which is literally on the complete opposite end of the country. Do you know any good cafes that I should go to? And the person's like, I've never even been to Vancouver. That's like literally on the other side of the world.
It's actually cheaper to get a flight to Cuba than to go to the other side of the country. Like
because it's further away. Like it's so funny. I think we have an episode where we talk about how where our mother is from. Like our mother's from Mexico, and it's like it takes 6 hours to fly there from where we are, but it takes like 7 hours to fly to the other end of Canada. Like it's further away.
Like honestly, Mexico. We go from like southern Ontario through the United States to Mexico.
Actually, you go around the United States
because we don't enter borders.
Yeah, you don't enter like the thing.
If you have connecting flights, I mean, you can pull it off.
Like it's really funny because like you're on the complete opposite. Like people don't understand like how big Canada is, and then when I try to explain to them, especially to like our aunts and uncles, they go, that's insane, why is it so big? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it takes like 5 or 6 hours to fly from like the East Coast all the way to the West Coast.
Yeah, like it's just, well, I mean, ours is a little like wider, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a little wider, so like flying from one end to, I think it's like 9 hours or something like that. Flying like the furthest east to the furthest west, it's like, it's just so far. And I like how he's like zooming out of like, you guys can't see this, but he's like zooming out of like Google Maps, trying to like.
I mean, I don't want to do the math right now. So
but
I'm just
like,
not going
it's
to.
just, it's so far. But
yeah,
I'm surprised.
Like,
I'm actually surprised how close you guys are to us. Like it's not that far.
We
also have like, oh, you can go.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say we also have like Hawaii that's like in the middle of the ocean, and then Alaska, which is next to Canada.
Which should be Canada. Let's be
honestly,
real.
That's
it's basically Canada.
Like we have about the size of like 4 more states of length, extra length and width.
Well, what is it? You guys are lucky. You guys have Hawaii. We don't. Canada is one of the only countries on Earth that doesn't own a tropical place.
Yeah, we don't own anything tropical.
Like we don't have anywhere people can go vacation. People, all the Canadians, you know where they go? They go to Mexico or Cuba to vacation. Like or they go to Florida because we have nowhere nearby to like we don't have a tropical. place.
We don't have a summer all the time kind of place.
They're not in like Florida, bro. I'm sure they know what winter is.
I know they know what winter is.
What's
not Canadian
there right now?
Wait, what's winter?
What's winter?
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
It's when like it gets really cloudy suddenly, and then it gets really cold, and then these little flakes of ice fall from the sky and just cover everything white. And then,
I don't know why you said flakes, and I pictured little sharp knives just falling from the sky. I do not know why.
Let me finish. And then sometimes, which is the worst, it'll heat up, and these little flakes will turn into water, and then it'll freeze on contact, and then we'll wake up.
It's called freezing rain.
And it's like a skating rink outside. Like everything's just covered in ice. Like everything's covered in like a thick layer of ice.
I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can literally search people skating in the streets of Canada.
I mean, that's, I mean, again, we're
skate on the street.
I mean, I know, but like today it was so nice out.
Oh yeah, it was.
I mean, it's like 16.
I mean, for Canada, it was nice out.
People don't understand.
It was 16 degrees Celsius. I don't know the conversion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you guys use Fahrenheit for weather.
Yeah, 16 degrees is like about 50 or 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
The fact that you can do that off the top of your head is impressive.
I feel stupid. Just joking. No, but yeah. So that's Canada and the United States. How did you guys? How is COVID for you guys? How did you guys adapt to that? Let's start with Christian. He's been a little quiet and silent.
He's just been reacting to us.
Yeah, Christian.
Really, how I got through COVID was really playing Fortnite, honestly. That was the one thing that really got me through that. And like, you know, when I couldn't go out to talk to someone, I always had Fortnite to go to, you know.
His escape from reality.
Exactly.
Fortnite. You know, some people turn to religion and drugs, but I think this is a pretty good.
I'm gonna be real. The high from winning a match is like a drug. You know, like that adrenaline rush of like, yes, we did it. And
after like 15 matches, failure.
Especially when like the person you're like, especially when like the team you're fighting against are like crazy builders and they're like just spamming like crazy walls and like I genuinely hate that so much. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, you know what? Just kill me. Forget it. I'm done. Like I'm not about to like spend 10 minutes trying to shoot you and you just keep putting a wall.
All life. I don't even give them the satisfaction. I will not let them have the satisfaction. I'd rather blow myself up. I mean, that's how intense I get. So how was it for you, Thea?
Same thing with Christian. Like me, Christian, the other girl that we played with, and this other kid, we would like play Fortnite literally every day. It was kind of unhealthy. I remember we'd be in the middle of school and Christian would be like, guys, there's a tournament going on today. I'm like, Christian, we're not good enough to go in that. You have to like be ranked. And he's like, okay, guys, maybe next time. And yeah, I'm horrible at Fortnite. I mean, I've gotten better, but I mean, I couldn't really play, and Christian would always make fun of me for it, even though he's like the same.
I mean, from my experience, level. Christian was almost always carrying us because we'd all die first because we were like, let's go attack, and we die, and then Christian's the only one who's like, okay, guys, I'm gonna clutch.
Okay, because I remember when I played like 4 matches with you guys, and like I instantly like you can tell like the play style. Christian's always going off on his own, like just like left. He's like, oh, you guys I'm going this way, and then like he is like, let's stay as a tight unit.
No, Thea just runs and goes for kills.
Yeah, that's literally what I do.
Yeah, there was one match where you're like, they're shooting over there. Let's go that way.
Yeah. We're just like, let's go charge those people.
I'm like, so Christian's like, he's like, guys, let's try to get like, let's dance on a Christmas tree to get like that free skin. And I'm like, no guys, let's go into the middle, even though there's like nothing there, let's go there because there's a lot of people there and we can kill them. And then Victor just kind of like follows me, like he'll be like, sure, let's go there. And so then we're kind of
just like divide into like duos in a squad.
Yeah, and then there'd be the other girl that's there, and she literally goes like on the like in like one corner of the map, and it's just like, guys, I got this, let's have a dance party. And then,
honestly, right, like disco building.
Disco building, like in the like mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys ready for the next season? It starts in like 4 or 5 days.
I haven't played since like the last time I played with Victor. Actually, I think probably. Oh wait, actually no, that's a lie. I played one match like a month later, and I lost everything. Like I can't shoot a tactical shotgun anymore. Like that's how bad it is.
It's not like riding a bicycle.
Yeah, I'd say I'd gotten better from the last time you see me play. Just a little bit.
Because you play a lot.
just a little bit. I have a minor addiction.
I actually stopped playing like entire. Like I think what is it?
I mean,
for this season, I got to like level 100, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Because like the next skins are like these like crystal whatever skins, and I'm like, I don't care for that. Like, and if I get one of like. I'm like, if I get one of them, it's just gonna drive me to get the other ones because I'm gonna like, then I don't have a complete set, and it just throws off everything. So like, if I just stop at level 100, I'll just stop. And then Victor goes, "Yo, bro, let's play a few matches together." We played like I think like 3 hours, and I got to like because the new skins kick in at like 110, and I got to level 109. I'm like, okay, I'm done, bro. No more until the new season. I'm not playing until so I just been like every now and then I'll get a notification from Fortnite. I'll be like, I'll like try to click on it and be like, no, I gotta hold on till
that's like a trap.
I gotta hold on till
I'm like level 135 right now, and it's not because I'm doing missions. I'm just playing creative at this point, and I'm doing all these missions and stuff. It's like get a kill with like 4 players. I'm like, okay, that's not that hard.
And Christian, he's obsessed with skins, right, Christian?
I'm so upset.
We would like bribe little children. That's how we actually got like the 2 skins that we have. We bribed this one kid. Christian, would you like to?
No, you know what's like crazy though? I feel like with like quarantine and everything, like I've been like playing video games so much with like my friends that like when I see them in real life, I'm like, whoa, like that's weird. Like I just haven't seen like so many people that they've become like virtual friends, and it's just so weird.
Yeah, like actually I was telling my brother there are people who like I haven't had like even like a video call or like all we do is like text and voice. And then I'm like I had this one friend, she's like, yo, we should start Snapchatting each other. She's like, 'cause I don't even remember what you look like. And I'm like, it's been over a year since like we physically like were like in contact, like face to face with each other. And then like, so we start snapping each other. And then she goes, yo, like, 'cause when last time we hung out, I didn't have a beard, and now I have a beard, for those who are wondering. So now I have a beard. And she goes, whoa, what happened to you? Like, did you, it looks like you've been through some stuff. I'm like, it's been a year. Like, I mean, a lot has happened. I got locked in my house for like, because like the other thing too is like I try to limit the amount I go out because I have asthma. So like one of Victor's friends like has like, you're immunocompromised. And I'm like, thanks for reminding me, bro. But
I have asthma too. It's okay.
But like, I mean, yeah, but so because of that, like I try to like limit the amount I go out. So like I'll go out, like I'll literally walk outside just for like once every 2 weeks, or like I'll go buy groceries with somebody just because my parents like, you need to go get sunlight, like you need to go out, like you can't stay.
We went out today,
yeah,
and it had been like a week since like we had stepped foot on the outdoors,
like outside. So like I've been inside so long, like I'm starting to lose perception of time. Like I'll wake up and like the middle, like the other thing too is like I'm staying up so late. I don't know, like
I have to tell the adult to go to sleep, like
like because I'm not doing anything right now. Like
I mean, like I'm barely doing stuff.
I'm like because again, I'm an adult, so like I'm already done school. Like I finished school last April, like almost a year ago now. And like I started job hunting at first, but then the field I studied is like social working, so like it's working with people. And because of like my asthma, like I'm just trying to avoid people. So it's like the worst case scenario occurred to me. It's like, hey, you're going to go work with people. And then the pandemic broke out. It's like, hey, you can't go near people. So now I'm just like stuck in this weird limbo of like, okay, so now what?
Actually, today was the day that the World Health Organization announced a global pandemic. It's actually officially been a year now since it wasn't.
The 13th was like our last day of school before like quarantine.
Yeah, I remember just being, we're not going to close down like school, like it's just going to be 2 weeks, but
yeah, and we all like wanted it. Like everyone was like, guys, how much you want to bet? I bet $20 we're not going to come back to school. And we're like, yeah.
I remember,
like after a week we were like, I'm done.
It was so funny because like people were like the running joke right now is like, remember when this was only going to be 2 weeks?
Government be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, January, February, March, April,
May, June, July, August, September. Like it just kept going. And like the other problem too is like I think the biggest issue with maintaining and like trying to like show it down is that they keep shutting down, and then the numbers will go down, and then they're like the numbers have gone far enough that we can reopen again. They'll reopen, and like because people are like desperate to go out, it just skyrockets even higher like a week later, and you're like, dude, like come on, like you can't just keep doing this. Like it's like this endless vicious.
I mean,
cycle.
how hard is it to just wear a mask? Like honestly,
it's like this endless vicious cycle of like the numbers go down, then they go up, then they go down, they go. And like I used to actually at one point I would wake up every morning and just check like the global numbers every morning, and then I'm like, this is really toxic and bad. I need to stop doing it. So I wake up now and I'm like, I'll jump on like Instagram because I'm like tempted to check Twitter to see the numbers, and I'm like, I gotta stop because it's just like it's too much.
Yeah, it's very it took over everyone's life.
Yeah,
the world. The other thing too is like the biggest issue that has happened is like I mean, there are those people who believe it's a hoax, and that's just like those people are the ones.
Don't get me started before I lose it.
Because those 5G towers and those microchips in the vaccine.
Our one of our teachers said it was a hoax, and he got it like the week after school closed.
See, I don't believe in karma, but that's some
like, no, what is it? It's like these people, I can't remember where, these people like protesting outside a hospital for like people to stop like, doing like, going on, and there's like people walking out of the hospital, like these people are like screaming at the top of their lungs because it's fake, and there are people literally walking out of the hospital being told that they literally just lost like a family member or a loved one because of COVID,
and then they have the audacity to say
and
it's
then
a
there's
hoax.
like people outside as you walking out of the hospital screaming that it's fake. Now I'm like, that's insane. Like how could you do that?
How
to somebody?
Insensitive of you.
Yeah, like this person just lost someone to something that, are you for real right now?
Yeah, I mean,
like before Corona, like I used to be like really like good at softball, and I would like play it like every day, and I was on like a travel team, I was on the school team, and then once Corona hit, the travel team was just kind of like like we can't do anything now, and then like half a year went by, and it was like the fall, and they're like, hey, let's try to play some softball, and I was like, sure. I haven't like picked up a bat since like last year, but okay. And I couldn't hit anything. Like I just couldn't do anything, and I was like really disappointed because I was like really good, and like I don't like to like be cocky or anything, but like I actually was good, and just to like pick up the bat again and not be able to like do anything just really like hurt.
Yeah,
like,
I'm afraid of kicking a soccer ball, honestly, because COVID struck and my soccer team was just like, yeah, we're not gonna do anything, and we're just like, well, all right then. Like what?
Like everything just shut down. Like every contact sport basically shut down. Like the other thing too is like I used to run a lot, and the other day or like 2-3 weeks ago I went out and I ran a little bit, and I think I ran like maybe like 200 meters, and I felt so winded. I was like, oh my gosh, it's been a year since I've done this. I can't even walk. Like I was just so winded. I was like, oh my gosh, am I out of shape? Is this what that's like? I was just so winded. I couldn't do anything. I was like, this is unbelievable. I got to do something. Christian, do you play any sports, or did you before COVID?
Yeah. So I remember because I played tennis. I'm pretty good at tennis. Like this, I don't mean to be cocky, but tennis.
Just say you're decent.
Yeah, I'm decent at tennis, and yeah, right when COVID hit, it was like, oh, can't play here. Like all these courts are being closed, and then I remember like maybe in like June, there was this little clinic that a coach was hosting, and I went, and it was so foreign, like everything, like seeing people and just like holding a racket. And like the tennis team for school was like completely gone, and like I feel bad because like all these like seniors and like they're just losing their seasons to COVID, and well, at least like everything's coming back to normal. But yeah, it was really crazy.
Yeah, I think well, the one thing I'm sad about it, well, it's not that I'm sad, it's more like it's unfortunate. You guys are missing out on like the high school experience.
Yeah.
I lived
like
I basically lived it. I'm done.
But like but you guys are like missing out on that, like, because I remember high school is like you discover a lot about yourself with the friends you make and like the environment as a whole, but your guys' generation is literally missing out on that chunk of high school.
What's it called?
And it's really sad.
Yesterday I checked on Twitter, like what was like, because like I'm starting to do like this thing on Twitter where I'm actually using Twitter of the podcast, but I checked if there was like any like national holidays or like anything going on tomorrow so that I can be on top of the trend happening the next day. And great, you totally just distracted me.
Sorry.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, today is the official day for promposal. I'm like to my brother, I'm like, is it already that time? I'm like, people are gonna like start doing like promposals like right now. I'm like, there's no prom. Like that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, it's because like it also depends like when you start school and when you end school. Because like for us anyway, prom usually happens in May or in June. Like the first week of June or the last week of May is usually when prom happens, because like then you enter exams and like nobody got time to do anything. But I remember and in some places here in Canada, people start school in August, like the second week of August instead of in September. So their prom is like in April and like the first week of May kind of thing, because of the way it works out, because they finish school like in May. And what's really funny is that I'm like, imagine like doing a promposal, like what would that even be like now? Like student it over a Zoom call. Like what? Like I can't show up to your
what a
door.
Surprise.
Like I can't
a Zoom call.
Like I can't show up to your house. I can't it's weird. Like today when we went out for a walk, my bro's like how like this girl in one of his classes, like she lives near us, and he's like, I should just go like knock on her door, and I'm like, and then do what? Run away because you can't even walk in her house. Like what's the
just like knock on their doors and be like, open up, and just walk away.
Like it's not like you can do anything.
We could if you take the proper precautions.
I mean, I guess,
but it's frowned upon in the area we're in because the area, unfortunately, that we're in right now is one of the highest like ranking COVID like results right now. Like people are just like, oh, I got COVID, but I'm asymptomatic, and we're just like, that means stay home. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, but that doesn't mean the next person won't.
Yeah, like where we live in, like nobody cares. I feel like nobody just like, even from the beginning, like they would just like walk outside and then everyone was having like parties and stuff. And they're like, yeah, school's out because of a disease. And they're like throwing parties. And I'm like, okay.
Like here they're like finding people like crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was this lady who had like this, these like college students. They threw this party in their college like house and they got fined, I think like $10,000 or something like that because like they had like 40 people in the house.
No, I was telling my brother the other day, I'm like, it was somebody's birthday, and like I'm watching this party from like 4 different angles because like I'm just seeing this on like everybody's Instagram stories. I'm like, so the party starts out with 4 people. I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. I'm like, they're taking precautions, they're wearing masks. 5 minutes later, another 6 people walk in. I'm like, that's still not too bad. I'm like, it's a pretty large house. It's like some rich kid's house. And then another 6. And then a whole group of masses just shows up at the front door. And I'm just like, should you be posting this on like Instagram right now? I'm like, this is not a really smart idea. And then one of the people are just like, oh, like the parents just left the house just now, just like we're gonna have some fun. And then like you see people like rolling stuff up in the background of these videos and like pulling out alcohol, and I'm like very, very Christian like of you. I'm like because the next day the girl has the audacity of putting on her Instagram, God loves you, it's really good to be like a saint and stuff like that. I'm like, literally go back to Instagram stories. You're like, you have pot in your hand. I'm like, you can't be doing this kind of stuff. I'm like, you're like 2 people in one. Really self-dividing.
It's always like, I think, I don't know, the thing with like Instagram, like what is it? It's like that, who was it that like, I don't know.
I can't.
I'm trying to remember and I can't remember for some, I was going to say something in the middle of that, but I forgot because I decided not to say it. Dang it.
Maybe the little lights Thea has on will help you remember.
I mean, they're pretty bright.
Honestly, that threw me off completely. I was just like, room lights. Like my intention.
It's funny because like Christian's face or like the part of his face like changed like the color when the hue of his color changed. Yeah. And I'm like,
yeah, I haven't turned these lights on in so long.
What is it? There was someone else recording who had like those like those like RGB tile things that people use in like computer setups. Had like a bunch of them in the back, and we were like having a conversation, and he like had his tablet in his hand, just playing around with the lights the entire time we were talking.
Just like, ooh, oh wait,
like what? We were trying to talk, and like the lights just start like flashing and glowing and like changing color, and I'm like, how is this
honestly,
so distracting?
I almost had an epileptic attack from the flashing lights. Like it was excessive. Like it was just like, it's blue, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red. It was just like I lost it a little bit there. Like
I don't know. I think it's apart from like all the COVID stuff. Like I think that I don't know. I feel like when all of this is over, just seeing people will be odd. Like just being in that environment again will be odd. And the other thing too is like they're saying that even if we all get vaccinated, we're all gonna still need to wear masks for at least another year, even after like everybody is vaccinated. And I'm like, that just so like I remember when they're like when all of this started, they're like, yeah, hopefully we can tackle it in 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks came and they're like, yeah, we're looking at 2021 now. And then 2021 came and they're like, we're looking at 2022. Hopefully we'll have everyone vaccinated. And then
now the plan isn't even to get everybody. And it's like, let's get half the population and call it a day.
No, and then they have the audacity to be like, we're like, then the vaccines come out, they're like, yeah, so we're looking at 2023 to have like, the greater population vaccinated. And then like the people who are producing the vaccine like say, oh, like we're having delays because everyone's like all the countries are ordering like in giant masses. So then there's delay on that. And they go, so now we're looking at like 2024. And I'm like, this is just gonna keep going. Like It's just gonna keep going. And
like
then,
government, you're really hurting my feelings here. You're moving it like so far back.
I'm like, this will be great. Like by the time this is over, like what I was telling.
By the time this is over, no one's gonna even want to go outside because what's the point? Literally, there's no new businesses right now. Well, actually, there's a few people who had the guts, but still, there's like no new businesses. There's nothing really new and cool coming out. Everything's just online. You can go to a museum if you have a VR headset.
Yeah, well, I think it's, what is it like? It's like movie theaters. How I miss going to the movies so much.
Yeah.
Like just experiencing. I don't know what it is about being human.
Honestly, I miss the smell of like
Butter?
old butter on the floor. I don't. Is that just me? Like I walk into like a movie theater and like it just that smell of popcorn and butter it just makes my day. I literally go to like a dollar store, buy the cheapest bag of popcorn, throw that sucker in the microwave, and just wait for it to ding.
I like how when you said that, Christian just like turned away. It's like this kid needs help.
Honestly,
Christian, I was just like, I ain't about that.
Honestly, my brothers told me to go to a psychologist, but I told them I can't do that because I might mess them up instead. It's this whole thing.
You guys don't know it's funny. In Canada, there's like this law for psychologists that mandates that they have to go see another psychologist every 2 weeks, like by law, so they don't get messed up. Because like the problem is like, you know, you're hearing all of these all these people's problems and like day in and day out,
and
like,
some of them have really valid points.
It affects like the person listening. If you're just like listening to this every single day, like there's no way you're not going to walk away unaffected. So in Canada was like, we'll just get psychologists to treat psychologists. So it's like this like endless cycle of just everyone treating everybody.
I mean, you get a psychologist. I mean, like, what was it that story you told me of? Like a psychologist quit on a client because they were just so messed up.
Like there's this guy I follow on Instagram, and he's like, the other day he's like, guys, I just got out of my psychologist like you know, my session. He's like, and my psychologist told me to go find somebody else because apparently he can't handle my problems. He's like, so how messed up am I? He's like, and since when can a psychologist like quit on you like a person? Like, since when is that a thing?
I mean, like, they tell me go get a psychiatrist, and this guy doesn't want to listen to what I gotta say.
But then like the comment section was like the funniest thing because like all our friends were like, they're like, dude, how messed up are you? Like,
I mean, he really let everything on the table. Like he went to some deep, you know.
Like it must have been like he just unloaded in such like I remember I've gone to see like a psychologist or a few times, and like I remember like,
don't worry, he's not messed up.
It's not that, it's just like there was like a lot of stuff going on anyway. But when I was talking to this guy, he's like, we all have our ups and downs and it's okay. But he looked at me like I was like this frail little child. And I'm like, dude, I'm like 21, calm down. Like,
see, I've taught to psychologists before because I have to do like my psychological assessments for school and stuff to make sure I'm still sane. But I don't like the way they talk to you because it's too friendly, and it's not that it comes off as creepy. It's just like it's a little sketch. You know what I mean?
Well, like it's like people who are like super extroverted. You know what I mean? They're always in your face. Like,
in your face.
I mean, anyway, like, you know, like those people who like they feed off like other people's like energy and like attention towards them. So like those people are like always in your face, and it's like a little too much. And a lot of psychologists are like that, where they're like, hey, how's it going? Are you good? Like all like a million questions, and you're just like, dude, I just came to tell you something, and I'm gonna walk out that door, and then maybe I'll come back next week.
maybe
I'm still thinking about like
you're too extroverted. Tone it down like about 65%. You know.
Really... I hate school guidance counselors. Like, I don't know why. I just hate them. Like, I
love my guidance counselor because they don't respond.
Actually, I used to treat when I was in high school, I used to treat my guidance counselor like a therapist. I would literally I'd make an appointment and just go chill in her office for like an hour. And then I'd get like, once the hour was up, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm done. And just get up and walk out. And she was and she's like, I'll see you soon. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll be back like in
next
2-3 days.
Session?
I'll be back in like 2-3 days when I don't want to be in my math class.
No, like I went in there because I had like this headache. I kept getting migraines for like a week straight. And I went into school because like we go like hybrid, and I went to school on Monday, and I like the sound and like all the noise and everything was just really hurting my head. And like her office is quiet, so I went in there and she's like, Thea, why are you here? And I'm like, my head hurts really bad. I've been having migraines. And she's like, is there something going on in school? And I'm like, no, my head just hurts from like the sound. I have migraines. I like went to the hospital. They give me like medication for it. She's like, is anyone bullying you? And I'm like, No, I just have migraines.
Problem.
Is it
That's
like?
not the problem.
I mean, like my whole family suffers of migraines, and when we get migraines, we just quit. We're just like we can't do anything.
It's like semi-coma.
It literally, the pain is so bad it forces us into a mini coma.
Yeah.
So as soon as we start seeing the symptoms of small blindness, senses get stronger, we're just like, I gotta go home and just die because there's just way too much.
But is it in my case, like it's so bad. Like I remember actually when I was in high school, I would get like them almost every other day. And it would be so bad, like because I was in so much pain, the body's like natural reaction is something must be wrong with you. So the initial reaction for the migraine is, oh, maybe it's like a virus attacking the body. So let's heat it up. So then I'd like break out into like this crazy fever, like because my body's just trying to like figure out what's going on.
Well, for the order for me literally goes sight gets insanely enhanced to the point where I lose vision. And then my hearing goes to like an absurd, like I can hear up to the finest decibels. Like I don't care what you do. Like if you whisper 15 miles away from me, I might hear you. Like you're yelling.
Yeah.
Like step back. But so that's my order, followed by enhanced fever, puking, and numbness all over.
Yeah. Like my vision, it doesn't enhance it. Everything just goes blurry, and then like everything goes black, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this again. And then I was after, because I went home early after I went to the guidance counselor because I just couldn't take it, and then I was like, I went online on Tuesday because I wanted to see like if it would get better or like I don't know if I could handle it, and I like threw up like right before, like after my lunch break. Right before I was going into class, I just threw up and I was like, oh, okay, let's just go into class, take this test. And then like after I went to like the emergency room and they had to like pump me full of like whatever they gave me. And I was just kind of like sitting there like, oh my God, the ceiling's black. And like everything was spinning.
No, there was this one time. Okay, so because I used to be like
I just love Christian's reaction to all this. Like it just
he's like, yep, that's exactly what happened. No, but I've had this experience because I played trumpet and I used to play with the school's band, and all of a sudden midway through the session I can't see half my music and my teacher's just like, are you okay? You're looking a little like, are you on something? He's like it's okay, don't worry, I won't report you or anything. He's like, but are you on something right now? I'm like, sir, I can't see your face, I can't see my paper, I think I'm getting a migraine. And he's just like, oh, he's just like, that happens when you get a migraine? I'm like, yeah, you start to lose vision. And it's just like, do you want to go home? I'm like, do I want to go home? I don't know. I think I can force this through. And he's just like, no, I think you should go home. He's just like, I can't do this. He's like, but I have painkillers. He's like, in my office, go get some. And I'm like, okay.
I had teachers all the time in high school. They'd be like, hey, by my desk in the top drawer, there's some like some stuff. Take as many as you need, go to the washroom and take them. She's like, but don't tell anybody I gave them to you. Because
it's not like they were handing us illegal drugs. They were like, it's like Tylenol, Advil, like those usual kinds of painkillers.
Well,
I had this one teacher who was just like, here's naproxen, and I'm like, yeah, let's take 600 grams, let's go for it.
Or like an aspirin. They're like, here's an aspirin.
I probably took like 20 pills, like, and nothing worked. Like not at the same time, but like I would take like Advil, like that didn't work, and then I would take something else and that didn't work.
No,
and then
one time I was really desperate and I started mixing. I mixed only once. I mixed an Advil gel, and I mixed a Tylenol pill. I mixed those two together. I tell you, I felt nothing. I was blind as hell.
They're all the same. They're the same.
No, actually not the same. Actually, they're not. But a lot of people, it actually depends on like the body. Like, because some people like swear by Advil. They're like, it's the greatest thing. Advil has saved so many migraines for me. And like, Advil does not work for me. Advil is like me taking candy. Like, it doesn't do anything to me. Like, I can take probably the whole can and it won't do anything. But Tylenol for some reason works super well on me. And it has to be, ironically enough, it has to be like that extra strength, like whatever it is.
We have to take 1,000 milligrams to be fine.
Just to survive.
I mean, like if you go like in Ontario where we are, doctors, if you're having like a serious like pain or like you need some painkillers, the first thing they won't even talk about Advil because the stuff in Tylenol is the good stuff. So they'll literally just hand you like 2 Tylenols that just like they're both 500, plop them in, it's okay, you'll be fine. And then they bring the real stuff.
My mom was like, we need to make a doctor's appointment, like, to see what she wants you to do. And I was like, okay. And she was like, now there's 2 options. There's the one that's going to work immediately and it's going to be really good, but it's kind of risky. And my mom's like, well, what is it? She's like, you go to the ER and they pump you full of like morphine and other opioids. And I'm like,
what is it? No, what
what
is it in Latin America? It's very common for them to like, if you have a migraine and you go into like the emergency room, they'll give you a shot of adrenaline. That's literally what they do. Well, and apparently, like my dad was telling us that apparently it like gets rid of it like almost instantly.
Oh yeah, because it's like an instant shock to the body. You
right?
Just, like,
so like
boom, instant epinephrine. Just
and it's like, but that's like what they do here. I'm like, but it's ironic because in Canada, what they do that here if you're having an allergic reaction, they'll inject you with adrenaline. So
I mean, they do that everywhere.
I mean, most places, but actually most places won't. They'll use is the other, I can't remember what it's called. It's another drug, but like so here that's what they do if you go to the emergency room. But I'm like, if you go to the emergency room with a migraine, they'll just be like, take some Tylenol. Like, what are you doing? Just take some Tylenol.
I remember I like broke my arm. It was a really bad break. I had like 4 surgeries on my arm, but I remember like right when I broke it, I was at like a trampoline place, and I just remember my adrenaline was like rushing. I didn't feel anything until like right when like I got into the hospital. Then it like kicked in, like I was just like relaxed. And I was like, oh, like I didn't even feel anything. Like I could see the bones sticking out and like nothing. Like it was.
Oh my gosh!
Have the stomach for that kind of
oh no,
stuff,
I don't. I anything with anything with like bones breaking, I just like I can't. I remember this one time I was in gym class when I was in high school and we were playing volleyball, and there was like this guy who was like trying to get scouted on like a professional volleyball team, and he would like like overhand serve, and this one time he like does it, and this guy jumps in to hit it with his hand, and his whole hand, like his like pinky, his ring finger, and his middle finger just like snap backwards, and like in the middle of the gym class, so like the cracking like echoes throughout the like entire like room. And you know what this guy's reaction is? Someone get my phone.
I gotta take
like,
a picture.
So he's like taking pictures and like filming and like throwing on. Like, dude, come on.
Like, don't you feel like you're broken?
He's like
right
throwing
now?
it on his like Snapchat. Like, guys, look, I broke my hand. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
I mean, you want to document,
And then like and then I remember the gym teacher. He used to be a paramedic, so he literally just grabbed his fingers and snapped them back into place. Like, and then he like wrapped it in like a bandage, and then they like an ambulance came and they took him away. But like just the fact that like,
I mean, like if you let's say you broke your nose, you're suggested to break it back into place, because otherwise it starts to heal in that place, and then it's literally again another break to readjust it. So
just breaking everything.
Just break it back. If you're not trained, don't break it back yourself.
Yeah. No, but I remember this teacher I had. He's also like a writer, but it was like just so funny because every time someone break a bone, he'd like show up and like crack the bone back into place.
It's just like again.
He like this. I remember there's like this rugby game, and this girl like dislocated her shoulder, and he's like, "This is gonna hurt." Like I just remember him walking up to her and like telling her, "This is gonna hurt," and just snapping it right into place. Like he didn't even ask for consent. She's like, "It's gonna hurt," and just snapped it right back into place.
I mean, it's better for them to not know.
Yeah, but I mean, like it was always interesting just to see that. And then actually, I met this guy who like he had like one shoulder protruding like higher out, and he was telling us how like he got tackled once and the bone like stuck out, and then it just healed like that. He never like had it checked or anything. And then he's like he went to the hospital years later because he was having like stomach pain, and the doctor offered to like fix the bone that was like sticking out for like years. And he's like, and they tried and they couldn't like push it back down, so he's like they had to like operate on me. He's like, I went in for like stomach pain and walked out with like a shoulder surgery. Yeah, he's like, I walked out with shoulder surgery.
I mean, how messed up is that? It's just like, I think I have a tummy ache. We're gonna do surgery on your shoulder. This will help you.
I don't get why some people are like I get like everyone has like their own like fears and like stuff that makes them queasy, but I honestly don't get why so many people are so against like needles and stuff. Like,
actually, I've been vaccinated, like, because like you have to get like vaccinated to like go to high school and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was getting vaccinated, the person who was gonna vaccinate me just started talking to me. I'm like, "Are you doing that thing where like you just try to distract me to do the needle?" And she's just like, "You know about that?" I'm like, "It's pretty obvious." I'm like, "Just go for it."
I remember when you're in elementary school, we get our hepatitis B shot here in Canada. I don't know when it is for you guys, so we all, like, everybody has to get it. And I remember I was like, me and my best friend, it was our turn to go together. And because of our last names, it just lined up. So we both were in the room together getting it. And the nurse goes, she's like, "Do you want to like look or whatever?" I'm like, "Just go for it." And she like injects me. And I literally look across the room and the nurse pulls out the needle and he passes out. And like the lady, the nurse next to me hadn't even like pulled out the needle yet. And I jump up to catch him. It was like the funny, he just like knocked him, like he's like passed needle, out. No. He could not do it for the life of him. And I remember the first time, actually like 2-3 years ago, I had to go get like a blood test done, and I went, and it was the first time I've ever had like blood, like an immense amount of blood pulled out of me. And the nurse was like, are you comfortable with like watching? Do you want me like, because they have like this curtain where like they'll cover your arms so you don't see it happen, because she's like, we have people pass out all the time, and like just in case. I'm like, no, it's fine, like I want to see this happen. And then so like they have to pull like 3 vials of blood, and she sticks the needle in me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you taking so much blood? I kind of need that.
It wasn't even a pint, and this kid was like freaking out.
But it's just I never seen that much blood come out of me, like physically, because I've never broken anything or like been severely injured.
I used to get like really serious nosebleeds, and like my brother would just see me with like a puddle of like blood in my hand. I'm like, I think my nose is bleeding. He's just like, you think your nose is bleeding?
There's like, you're holding like you dunk your hand into like a bucket of water of blood in your hand. But he would just like, it's just interesting.
I just wake up and be like, I think I'm bleeding, and he's just like, what? And I'm like, my nose is just the humidity.
What's crazy to me though is the fact that like I'm okay with blood. I just can't handle bones cracking. Like any bone that looks deformed or like odd, just get me away from it. But blood, I'm okay. Like I'm down.
See, like okay. He's like trying to avoid seeing these kinds of things, and I'm like, let's watch open surgery.
I'm like, nah, can't be done. You know what? We are out of time. We have actually gone over.
Yeah. Anyways,
let's wrap
this up. Okay, guys, this has been Two Latin Brothers Podcast. Everything's always in the description, whether it be up, down, left, or right. If you guys would like to give your ads, we'll start with Christian.
You can add me on Instagram at ChristianStone_.
All right, Thea, if you'd like to.
You can also add me on Instagram at Thea as a set of 7.
We'll put that in the description.
I'll just link both of them in the description.
Both of them will be in the description.
If you're on Spotify, you can't click on it, but literally everywhere else you can for some reason. I don't know why.
We're not on SoundCloud on YouTube, so don't try go looking for us there. Anyways, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Make sure to like, share. You know, if you can, click that bell notification. Make sure to share with your donkey, share with your rooster, share with your grandma. I don't know who you're gonna share with. Just share with everybody.
Go leave a review on iTunes if you want.
Yeah, go leave a
I haven't asked that since the very first episode.
Yeah. Check out the podcast Twitter. I'm trying to tweet every day. That'll also be in the description.
Which nobody follows because we haven't used it since we made it.
That's a secret. I'm just trying. No, honestly, go check that out. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.